The Labour Party is in an absolute mess, but so is society. Their candidate in Rochdale resorted to pushing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories in order to win votes. Why? Because he was getting turfed out of the town, like this incident in a restaurant.
Murderers, that's what you are. Listen to me. No, you're wrong. Say maybe won't listen.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
He'll have seen others getting battered on the doorstep, like this incident in Tower Hamlets.
I understand, still campaigning for the same. You don't see the news? You think Keir Starmer is on your side? He's an open Islamophobe at the moment. He's an Islamophobe, he's an open Zionist, but you've got no spine. Have some shame.
Vice-Chancellor Rachel Reeves has been hammered in the street.
Could you live without water, Rachel? Have you had a glass of water today? The children are digging holes for water, Rachel. It's just so sad, Rachel. How would you like to dig your children out of under rubble? Have you got children, Rachel? I've got a daughter.
Deputy Labour leader Angela Rayner has copped it out and about as well.
Angela Rayner, why have you supported genocide? Why have you supported Palestine? Angela Rayner, you have supported genocide of the Palestinian people. Angela Rayner, shame on you, Angela Rayner.
And in Redbridge, a part of the Ilford North constituency where Shadow Health Secretary Wes Streeting's slim 5,000 majority is under threat from Liam Mohammed, a British Palestinian Muslim, this poster appeared today. It reads, "Vote for genocide, vote for Labour." Well, this all culminates in the now former Labour candidate, Azhar Ali, at a secret meeting in Lancashire talking about Jews in the media and Jews being responsible for their own massacre at a behind-closed-doors event because he wanted to bring the pro-Palestine community back on side.
The Egyptians are saying that they warned Israel 10 days earlier, 2 weeks earlier. Americans warned them 2 weeks before. A day before. There's something's happening, right? Netanyahu, right, deliberately, he was in political trouble, he's in political trouble, he cashed it. They deliberately, I believe that, and I've said it publicly, they deliberately took the security off, they allowed the massacre, and it was a massacre of 1,200 innocent people, right? They allowed that massacre, and that gives them the green light to do whatever they bloody want.
And still, the plot thickens. Labour has tonight suspended a second parliamentary candidate who was also in attendance at that infamous private meeting in Lancashire. Former MP for Himburn, Graham Jones, who was selected to run in the constituency again at the next election, was heard delivering this message to his fellow activists.
In Israel again, you know, and I'm sure that all these people think that when they go home, but you will not get Israel over the line unless we go at them hard.
Well, why is there British people in IDF?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Well, this has been raised, and I'm going to take this up because we have a simple rule.
They're allowed to get a flight there as well.
You do, unless there is a military alliance between us and that particular country, NATO or whatever, then or an individual one, you should not be fighting. No British person should be fighting for any other country. At all, full stop. It's against the law and you should be locked up.
Well, effing Israel and Brits fighting for the IDF should be locked up. Wow. That bombshell recording was unearthed by politics website Guido Fawkes, and frankly, like everyone else, they can clearly smell blood. So they've asked a whole load of Labour MPs today if they were at that event and didn't condemn it. But Starmer cannot handle this situation. He would have lost a big chunk of his front bench over Gaza if he was in power. He sent Labour big hitters into bat for Mr Ali over the weekend and then withdrew support.
Well, those comments were appalling, and that is why we took decisive action.
Well, as I previously revealed, a new website called themuslimvote.co.uk has sprung up, targeting predominantly Labour MPs who haven't backed a ceasefire and have a large Muslim population in their constituency. One of those MPs is, of course, Roshanara Ali in Bethnal Green. And this is the seat that saw furious protests outside her office.
Why are you here?
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Well, the man now standing against her in Bethnal Green and Stepney is an independent candidate, and he is Tasneem Akunji, who is the ISIS bride Shamima Begum's former representative, legal representative, and he joins me now. Look, thank you very, very much. It's great to have you on the show. It's a fascinating case study, this, OK? I've got to ask you first and foremost, do you think that Israel allowed this October 7th massacre to take place, as that candidate in Rochdale alluded to?
Well, I'd like to first address the point that you've introduced me as Shamima Begum's lawyer, and that's right that you do so. But the UK government's taken a very firm stance about Shamima Begum. Anyone who's involved in illicit activities or terroristic activities abroad, this government has chosen to strip them of citizenship. Now, I hope that if that's the precedent that's set, anyone on the Israeli side, in terms of anyone who's British, has gone and joined the IDF and committed genocide or war crimes, the UK government would take the same stance there. So that's a very firm position the UK government has taken with Shamima Begum, and they should take the same stance if they're being consistent with anyone involved in war crimes.
So just to clarify, look, just to clarify then, so you are comparing ISIS bride Shamima Begum to British people who are going to fight for the IDF?
No, that's not what I said. What I said was Shamima Begum has conducted herself and joined a terrorist organisation. Those who have gone and joined the IDF and committed genocide or war crimes, the British government should take a similar stance to that.
Is that what you think the IDF are doing then?
I think that the IDF are conducting themselves in a way that is potentially genocidal, and there's certainly war crimes that have been committed, but from what I've seen.
Right. So by extension then, you think that any British person who's fought for the IDF should, what, not be allowed to come back home?
So the difficulty there is you keep slipping a bit from what I'm saying. Anyone who's joined the IDF and committed war crimes or genocide, the British government should take a similar
if it's proven. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. No, look, absolutely. So do you think that Israel allowed the October 7th massacre?
No, that's not the opinion I hold, and I think it's a very bizarre thing to say at all, particularly for a politician. Now, I don't know what he hoped to achieve by saying that, because you alienate everybody by saying that. Anyone who's on the pro-Palestinian side, anyone who's on the pro-Israel side, both sides are alienated by the statement he made. A very foolish statement.
Okay. And are Hamas a terrorist organisation?
They certainly are under English law, yes.
They are under British law. In your view, though, what do you think?
Well, I'm a British lawyer, and I have to advise people that if you say anything that is promoting a terrorist organisation, as defined by British law, that itself is an offence. So I certainly wouldn't come on television and tell anyone to go and do something that's against the UK law.
OK. Apart from Palestine and what's going on there now in a ceasefire, what ticket are you running on? So if people vote for you in Bethnal Green and Stepney, what are the issues? Is it just a ceasefire? Is it just a foreign policy ticket you're running on?
No, not at all. An MP, when they are put into their position, their job is to look after all the constituents that they have and the concerns of the constituents. Currently, the Labour Party, and particularly through Rushnara Ali, in the borough of Stepney and Bethnal Green and Stepney, which is now named, she certainly showed that the Labour Party has betrayed its voter base, it's betrayed its constituents, not just on Palestine, but most particularly on Palestine. But effectively, that's the straw that's broken the camel's back. What we've seen is Keir Starmer gone out with a very clear manifesto in hand and suddenly flip-flop around that, turn his back on a number of deals. And one of the things he has also turned his back on is on the Palestine issue. So we have a flip-flopping sort of leader of the opposition who's also flip-flopping on the candidates. And the electorate are not happy that we have somebody who's got no policy line, no clear idea of who their candidates are, and on top of that, really has betrayed some of the fundamental principles that the Labour Party is supposed to hold close to his heart.
Can you understand why a lot of people are very concerned that we have these organisations like the muslimvote.co.uk popping up where they openly say things like they want candidates to run on a ticket of quotes unquote Muslim issues? I mean, can you understand why people are concerned about that?
Well, I can understand why the Muslim community is concerned about Islamophobia and certain issues, particularly Palestine, that's not unique to them, but certainly the Islamophobia issue is unique to them, and they've been uniquely ignored by the entire political class. So I don't see what the problem is in terms of a group of people who feel that they've been isolated from politics, coming together in order to express themselves.
I think the problem is, if I might just interject, I think the problem is, especially in relation to what we've seen in Rochdale, right, is that clearly there, a Labour candidate felt the need to try to appease a large voter base by spouting a conspiracy theory. And the implication there is there's a heck of a lot of people with those anti-Semitic views within that constituency and voting. And are you potentially worried that you are helping to ignite that?
No, certainly not. What we did see in Rochdale was Azad Ali, who's not the sharpest knife in the kitchen, being used by the Labour Party to try and secure a vote, effectively dishonestly. Now, the issue there is that's why we're getting ourselves involved in politics, because we're not going to say something behind closed doors and something else in front of the public. We have a very clear and honest message, and unfortunately the Labour Party doesn't seem to operate in that way.
OK, all right. Look, thank you very much for your time this evening. It will not be the last time that we talk before the next general election. I'm absolutely sure of it.